Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm Jess of Body Life. Thank you so much for tuning in. I haven't done a video like this in a minute, a really long time, but it's needed, it's necessary, and it was inspired by one of my clients recently. I wish I had a better name for you guys that I get to work with one-on-one, because clients is not the right word. I feel way too invested. I feel way too committed. I feel way too much of a bond. Do you know what I mean? Between you and I when we're working, and clients just doesn't summarize it. Like, anyways. So I'm not going to mention any names because every single one of my clients and our reading and our time together is so sacred. It's so private, and it's something that I protect always and forever. But for the first time, you know, I've been doing readings for many years, but her energy was so special. But it also reminded me of a really important message that I feel like I needed to come on here and share with you guys, to the point where I didn't want to record it on my phone, or I didn't want to record it on my camera. I needed to, you know, use my iPad in order to get this message up there for you guys. But it was inspired by her experiences, or a main message that was coming from her reading, that I just felt like she's not the only one who has been feeling this way or is experiencing this, and it's not just for her to receive this message, it's for everyone. And that's usually how things work, is, you know, it's a message that can come through for the collective. And pretty much, you know, her energy is very unique. Like, Franklin is eating a gummy bear right now. Where did you even find that? Give me it. Give me it. Give me. I knew something was up because I could hear him chewing. God bless you. This gummy bear. I can't. Anyways, I'm so sorry. So her energy was so unique, like so unique. Everyone is different. Everyone has different energy. Everyone has different vibes, but she's from another planet. And I say that in the best way possible. And if you're watching, you know who you are. And I send you all of my love, because your reading was incredible. They're all incredible, but this is, you know, everyone's so different, but this one was different. But there are people, right? There are people who are walking this earth right now who are not from this planet. And these are things that I'm spending some time with, studying, staying open to, and doing my own personal research with, as far as, are there other planets out there? Are there other lives out there? Are there past lives? And I have to come to that conclusion myself. But it's things like this that kind of confirm to me that there's more to us than just this life. But I feel like saying life is not the right word. So like a past life, it could be a past experience from a different dimension. I just haven't found those answers for myself. And you guys know I'm constantly seeking, I'm constantly asking questions and diving into myself in order to find those answers and find those truths and work with my angels and my guides. However, no matter where we're from, no matter where you're from, there are people walking this earth right now that their energy and their light, there's only one way to describe it in the minimal words that you human beings are allowed to, you know, have to express themselves. And that's brilliant. It truly is a light beam that is so brilliant. It's so remarkable. It's so stunning. And those same people come into this earth, and they're the first ones who end up in environments and living situations and family situations that are very traumatic. Or if it's not the family environment or the living situation, then there's a series of events in their lives that almost invites trauma in. Like, there's moments, there's huge chunks of their life at the start or at the middle or whenever, where it's just trauma. Some people, I'm sorry, I have like a hair or something, like dog hair on my lip, but because Franklin was on my lap just a second ago. Those same people, like, they may have a good time, like, not a good time, they may have a better time accepting it and calling it what it is, which is these events were traumatizing. And trauma, like, it's like a battlefield. Their life has looked like an actual, like, battlefield. And some people have a better time accepting that and calling it what it is. Other people are not allowed to say that those experiences are traumatizing, because that would mean that they would have needs. And to speak out and say that they have trauma and to say that they have needs, now all of a sudden they are a burden to those around them. But this is what I'm saying, is that there are people on this world, in this world right now, walking the face of this earth, many of us walking the face of this earth, that are brilliant beings of light, and step into a realm, an environment that is not ready for them, and it's not prepared for them. They don't have what it takes to even remotely, like, take care of and feel comfortable around the magnitude of the brilliance of this human being. And this is something that, sorry, my battery is about to die, but this is something that is felt from childhood, that this person, they didn't ask to be here. They just came to this earth. And this is something that's felt from childhood, where, you know, they're born into an environment where they almost, their needs are never really recognized, or to acknowledge their needs is like forbidden or taboo, or again, they have to go through where their needs need to be met. Maybe something traumatizes them and hurts them, where their needs have to be fulfilled, where they're not totally self-sufficient. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they get physically hurt or paralyzed, and they have to go through these unsurmountable odds to defeat these odds. But it's all about their actual physical needs, something about that. And again, it's these experiences that they didn't ask for, but there's a trauma that happens. And what I'm seeing, and what I want this message to be about tonight, today, in this moment, is that there are going to be people in your life that, if you are one of these brilliant beings walking the face of this earth, there are going to be people that, as soon as they recognize that light, that incredible energy, that presence, they don't even know what to do with it. If anything, they're triggered by it. If anything, it's a threat to them. And they don't even know why they're triggered by you. They don't even know why you're a threat to them. They don't even know why they're uncomfortable around you, and why they feel the way that they do in order to actually sometimes intentionally hurt you. Or they don't want to hurt you, but they can't help themselves to grow better, to strive, to do different, because they are so intimidated by the magnitude of the light that it is that you give out, like the light that is that you radiate. That's how serious it is. And you, as this brilliant light being, sometimes you sit back and you look at it and you're like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what your deal is. Like, I don't understand why they can't do better. I don't understand why they treat me this way. I don't understand why this has been our sequence of events, when you know my heart is pure. You know my intention is pure. I didn't ask for this. I'm not trying to hurt you. But yet, and still, you can find yourself in circumstances where you are constantly getting hurt. Now, this message is not for everyone. And I really want this to be clearly stated and known, that this message is not for everyone. This is not people who, forgive me if I offend anyone, but also at the same time, I can't say that I totally care. But this is not for people who are picking relationships, or in relationships right now where they're like, I don't know why you don't love me. I don't know why you don't respect me. Like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, it seems like, you know, I want this person to care about me, and like in a romantic relationship. Okay, that's a symptom of it. That's one way that this energy can express itself, is in dysfunctional relationships. But I'm talking about before you even get into your romantic relationships. It's the trauma of the family, what it is that you were born into, the world that is that you're born into, that trauma. And that trauma, we have to accept it and acknowledge for what it is. We have to see it for what it is. There are some people, again, who they might be in dysfunctional relationships or abusive relationships. I'm not taking away from the power of that. It is, or the magnitude of that, because that in itself is traumatizing. But there's this other thing, this other realm that I need to talk about tonight, that needs to be addressed tonight. However, those dysfunctional relationships, those, chaotic relationships, and sometimes, hopefully not, but abusive relationships can be a symptom of this. But those of you guys that can only experience, or can only talk about, and can only attest to that one thing, this message is not for you, and that's okay, because there could be a message for you moving forward into the future. Let me plug this in really quickly because I was not prepared to share this message with you. Trust and believe. I've actually been doing readings all day and doing a lot of other energy work, so I wasn't ready to share this message, but you know, when I'm called to do it, I will do it, and I haven't done a message like this in a minute, so this is probably brand new for some of you guys, but I'm also getting a sense to get ready for more of these, because that's kind of where I've been at lately. So this message specifically, this is a specific message for a group of people that literally, they're like light workers, they're light beings, they're not from this planet, they're not from this world. Their heart is so pure, their energy is so pure, and it's what they were walked into the moment they were born. Like, the moment they entered into this world, it was traumatic. Like, traumatic experiences. Total, like, almost breakdown immediately. And it's from that, there's a series of events. There's a sequence of events that happened, you know, or maybe it's not, for some of you guys, it's not from the moment that you were born, but something happened before. It has nothing to do with romantic relationships or anything like that, but something happened in the in-between time that might have traumatized you and almost taken your life. That's how serious it is. It could be a car accident. It could be getting shot. It could be anything, but it's extremely traumatizing. So there's the physical trauma and there's the emotional trauma. The emotional trauma, I'm seeing it happen for most people at childhood, like from the moment that they stepped into this world, almost pretty much relatively soon. And then for the physical trauma, it's later on in life, you know, like after, it could even be in your like 13, 18, 21. But anyway, what it was that I was saying is there are people who, again, their light is so brilliant and the magnitude of their energy is so pervasive, like it's so strong. And just them being who they are, pure with positive intention and pure intention for everyone. Something about that triggers people who are not ready to receive them or don't have the capacity to receive them, to take care of them, to tend to them. It could be very well their own parents do not have the tools, the resources, the mind, the ability to match the energy of this being, this little light worker, this powerful little spirit that came into this world with a huge purpose. These are the same people who are so intelligent. They are called wise souls. They're called like old souls. They're very curious. They're very inquisitive. There's those same kids that will just sit there and stare. Like, what are you looking at, dude? Like, or they'll look at like a person and just look at them. Like, you know when babies do that? When they just stare at you? Because they see beyond the physical. They see beyond the exterior. They're seeing something. And that's that same human being that comes in as so inquisitive that makes everyone else uncomfortable because their light is so unique. It's so special. And what the point of me sharing this message with you guys is that those specific individuals, you can't expect to be understood. You can't expect to be seen. In fact, if you were to be truly seen in all of your glory and all of your brilliance and all of your magnificence, it would be like looking for a lot of people, normal people walking the face of this earth, it would be like literally to them looking into the sun, looking straight into the sun. It would burn them. So they're instantly threatened by it. They're instantly, the word is the remorse. They instantly have remorse for the things that they've done or how they feel or how they're triggered by you. They don't even understand it. It's a natural instinct, a natural reaction. I'm not saying that they're better than you or you're better than them. I'm just saying that this is what it's like. This became so clear to me tonight. And instead of you taking it, we're in this space right now where so many of us are transcending and we're doing deep spiritual work, but as you're doing that, you're asking yourself, why? And you're looking at all of your circumstances, all in your trauma, and you might be exhausted. You might be emotionally exhausted. You might be spiritually exhausted. The same people who are literally like descendants of God, you know what I mean? Like just so close to the divine. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with like spirituality or your belief system. It has everything to do with I truly believe now that there are, I don't want to say chosen people, but people who work closer to God. They're almost like they were like one notch away from being angels. And if they're not an angel, they're aliens. They're like from another planet, from this other star, this other galaxy, where to fit in on this globe, it feels impossible. It feels painful. The process of just living, breathing, and existing is tumultuous at best. Like it's so painful. It's exhausting. It's spirit draining. And they add over time, sometimes if you're not being nurtured, especially because these are the same people whose needs aren't getting met, because they come into this environment in a space where the trauma helps to shape them. It's unfortunate. And that's the thing too, is that it's very clear to me that it's not fair. Like it's not meant to be fair. Like, and I really believe this. I believe that not everybody has a fair shake at life. And that fairness looks different, and that unfairness looks different. So, and that I also believe that for you guys, this squad of of light beings, because that's what it is that you guys are. You're like light beings. This squad of light beings who came into this world, it's those same traumas that you're experiencing from, that you're like so bruised from, that no one can fucking relate to. Like they couldn't relate to it if they tried. These are the same people that when they talk about their trauma, their friends, their closest friends, their best friends, like they can't relate to them. They appreciate the fact that they have companionship and that they have friendships and stuff like that. But even still, those friends, those friendships, those people around them, even if you go to a trauma group, there's something about them that it's like, you guys couldn't relate to what it is that I've gone through. And I haven't even like that's only the tip of the iceberg. Like, I don't even want to overwhelm you with the amount of things that have happened. Like it's mind boggling. And some of you guys end up keeping these secrets and not telling everyone everything. But again, that's the purpose of this video. It is literally not meant for everyone. This is a really small portion of people that can relate to this message. And the fact that you can relate to it is like, it's a miracle because you're seen, but also the burden of it that you can relate to this needs to also be seen. Because your journey, your experience here on Earth, again, I can only say that it's like tumultuous at best, that it tests your faith, it tests your limits, and it's truly not fair, the amount of trauma that is that you've experienced. But that same trauma, and I'm not saying that this is fair, but that same trauma happens for a reason, because that is a part, unfortunately, some of you guys are able to be shaped by this, you know what I mean, and become really incredible healers, really incredible message bringers, create things that the rest of us here on Earth, we wouldn't even be able to touch. But it's also because of the trauma and the element of isolating. These are the same people who could be in an environment where there's a lot of people who like them, but still they feel very alone. And even if they were to talk about everything, they wouldn't even be talking about everything. Like, there's just no way. Like, how could we unpack it all? How much time do you have? I could go on with all of my experience, with all of my trauma, with all of these things that I've seen that I can't relate to you. And how can the rest of the world, your family, your friends, how can they relate to it? They almost feel, for those of you guys that have supportive family, maybe they weren't supportive all the time, maybe they became supportive over time and compassionate to you or empathetic towards you, because now they believe you. There's also a portion of this that no one believed their experiences. Again, it kind of brings me back to needs, like your needs aren't being met. And if you were to ask for your needs to be met, it would be that person would have to accept the fact that they did not have the capacity to care and tend to you in the way that it is that you needed. That could seem very basic, but something about your being, your presence was so intense and so hot, so like light, like the sun, that even trying to touch you and to care for you, something about it made them reject. And that added to the trauma. And they don't even understand why they couldn't be there. They just know that they were triggered by it. They just know that they couldn't. They just don't know that they didn't have the capacity, the potential to even do it. What I want to say with this video, and what I feel really called to share with you guys, is just the fact that you're being seen. If you're seeing this video, it's gracious. Like it's grace. Like it's the divine's grace to give you a moment to just be who you are, to be seen, to be vulnerable, to just know that, like, you're not alone, but it's very alone out here. You know what I mean? Like, to put into words things that you might not have been able to put into words yourself, even though you might be a person who's amazing with words, but you struggle with this. So there's that. And it's the grace of just knowing that you're being supported, the grace that, you know, you are chosen. Like, something about you is truly like an almost one, like I said, one notch away from being an angel. And angels are like, if, you know, the closest to the divine sometimes, if you believe that. And if not, then it's like you're this star seed, you're this star light, this star, like this bringer of light. And those people, they receive downloads, they receive inspiration. Something about them is, the essence of them is so pure and brilliant. What I was telling my client, and again, you guys, I need a better word for client, but it's like we have all of these crystal people, right? So we have someone who's like a rose quartz. Then we have someone who's like an amethyst. Then we have a spirit quartz. Then we have a citrine. Then we have spirit. Did I say spirit quartz already? What else? Apophyllite. Red jasper. All of those crystals are beautiful. They're brilliant. They all have their special gifts. They all have their unique talents. But they can fit into certain compartments. You know what I mean? Like, they can fit, their gifts and their talents can be seen, observed, and put into these certain boxes, right? And then at some point there comes this really radiant diamond. That's not to say that the diamond is better than the spirit quartz, or the amethyst is less than the diamond, but there's something about this diamond that is energy charged, like it has energy healing to it. It's like something from the galaxies, like almost like moldavite. And some people can touch it and embrace it and hold it and be transformed by it immediately, even in a moment. This is like you, the message that this person, the person that this message is for, this is like them. You can relate to this. Like, you would, like, let's say you're sitting on a bus, you're going somewhere and you sit on the bus next to someone and you just have a conversation with them, and like, it could be a 15-minute bus ride, but that 15-minute bus ride changes their entire life. They don't have that level of intimacy that was shared in those 15 minutes is more intimacy and more connection than they will ever experience with anyone in their entire life. Romantically, platonically, spiritually, they would never hold a candle to that message, that moment that you shared with that stranger. And then that person gets up and walks out of your life forever. That person who delivered that message, literally, that's you guys that this message resonates with. It's like the profoundness of your words makes a difference and impact and can change the course of someone's life forever. And you don't even know the profound difference that you might make on someone's life, and many people's lives. And it's like these inner encounters, your work that is that you do, the relationships that is that you have, your boundaries that it is that you keep for yourself. All of those things are important and significant and a part of your purpose. And it can't be compartmentalized because it's energy. It's light work. And you're a light being that just happens to be caught in this skin cage. What do they call it? A meat wrap. That's what this is. Just being human. That's a really gross and morbid way to say what human beings are. But like I said, this message is for a very specific population. One last final thing I think that I'm supposed to articulate over to you guys is that this group of people, this specific group, I really want, there's this really strong message right now of it almost reminds me of the quote, like, be in the world but not of it. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but essentially what I'm trying to say is you're living in this world And your experience, remember, is unfair in the level of trauma and things that it is that you're going to experience that other people wouldn't be able to relate to, and how quickly some people can not treat you in the way that it is that you deserve, simply because they're intimidated by your own brilliance and the energy that it is that you carry. You're different, you're odd, you're eccentric, you're unique, you're compassionate, you're vulnerable, you're intense, you're healing others. Your level of communication is different. The way that you use your words is different. You could be from the same community. You could even be brother and sister with someone, or sister and sister, and from the same household, but something about this one is different. This is a light bearer. This is the light bringer. So I just don't want you to internalize your trauma and look at what has happened as anything that is that you've done. There's a really strong message of things are actually unfair, but it had to happen because your trauma, like you're like a sacrificial lamb almost. Like your trauma was there to help heal the world. That's wild. Like your trauma was there to help to heal the world. Your trauma, my stomach just growled. Your trauma was there to help to heal the entire world. Your trauma was there to help heal the entire world. That is unmeasurably world life changing, galaxy shifting, heart breaking, heart opening. That is huge. I don't have the words to describe the magnitude of what that means. But at the same time, realize your power, realize your light, realize your significance. Don't internalize it and collapse. Do your best every day, and a lot of what doing your best means is self-care. Do your best every day to be gentle and easy on yourself, and to give yourself that time, because the same thing that you might feel odd and away from everything, but a part of that is because you are meant to be isolated, because you're meant to brainstorm, you're meant to download, and you can't do that if there's noise and distraction around you. Some of you guys might even have delays with children. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you might have delays with children or early children. So you have children earlier on, like really early on, and then they kind of pass the louder noise, the louder stages. And then by the time that you're actually, like, the timing of it is very important. By the time that they've aged up enough, you have more quiet time to yourself to go back into that isolated space and go back into your journaling, go back into moving things through, like chronicling your experiences, getting into your imagination, doing your soul work, your spirit work. The others of you, children comes later. And that's because you spent a good chunk of your life focusing on what is that you're focusing on now, to become and to live out this destiny, to fulfill this purpose through your traumas. So children might come later. But it's not, if you want children, if you want a family, it's not denied you. Like, you're not denied from receiving that. It's just this chunk of time needs to happen either in the beginning or the later portion. But it literally depends on this person, you specifically. But yeah, I just feel like it's not my place right now to tell you what the next steps are, because these are the same people that they know the next steps, and a lot of it comes from your meditation, your prayer, journaling, this vision that you have for yourself. Your next steps. You know what you need to do. You can feel it within your spirit. It's a divinely appointed, unignorable, resounding truth that you have a purpose, you know exactly what that purpose is. Like it may not make sense. Again, this is not something that can go in like a different compartment. So it might bleed into different areas. Like I said, you know, you might, it's like these paths, these paths that you cross with certain people, specific people, as you're living your life, but that is a part of your destiny. And when you walk away from those encounters, for example, the bus example, like when you get off that bus after having that conversation with someone, you're walking different. Your shoulders are back and you're like, damn, that was a part of my destiny. How can I do more of that? Those are those moments where you're like, yeah, I'm right on track. And sometimes it feels like there's gaps, but it's okay. Because everyone's not meant to like profit off of it. You know what I mean? Not everyone's meant to do it every day, because it would be way too intense for you to do it every day. So you could have like a regular benign, like regular 9-to-5 job, but your purpose is actually in these encounters that you're having. But if you were to have these encounters every day, or 5 times a day, or 4 times a day, or 3 times a day, it would be way too much on your spirit. And spirit, these guardians of the light bringers, or the light bearers, they want to protect you because of the amount of trauma that you've already endured. So don't beat yourself up and being like, well, what the hell? Am I living out my truth? Am I living out my purpose? Don't question yourself. But it's very important that you take that time, that self-healing time, and build that deeper connection with this higher power. You know what I mean? This connecting with that higher power or source. Because some of you guys might not believe in a God so much, or a divine so much, as it's like you just plugging into the sun. The same sun that's blinding everyone else. But yeah, you just plug right into it and you receive light. You're like a lizard on a salt rock or something. You know, when they just sun themselves, they're like, oh God, I needed this. In my head, that's what I think lizards are saying when they're sitting on that heat lamp. Oh God, I needed this time. Like they put their phones on Do Not Disturb. They plug it out of the wall because they don't even care if it charges. They just sit. That's you. You guys are the lizards. Just plugging into that light, just recharging yourself, because it's been a lot. So I hope that this message, I'm setting intention that this message reaches only those who need to receive it. You guys know that I do not try to pimp out my YouTube channel or pimp out myself and my messages. I literally set specific intention that those who are meant to receive it are the ones who will receive it. So I am not going to broadcast this. And if I offended anyone by saying that you do not fit into this category, or if this message does not apply to you, in this moment I will say, forgive me for saying this, but this message is not for you. And it's not that I don't care that I've offended you, but not everything is for everyone. And I'm not going to water down or include everything in, or try to include everyone in things that not everyone needs to be included in. Don't take it personally. Your time for your message will come. If this message did not resonate and did not hit a bell for you, this is not the one for you. Feel free, if you like my energy and if you like my spirit, if you like my normal messages every day or every week, then I will, of course, invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But this is for a very specific population, and I'm not apologizing for that. And no one should take offense to that. It just is what it is. And when the time comes, you will have your own specific message if you are offended by the fact that this message was not for you. But on that note, you guys, I'm literally sending you all of my love. It's been a really long day for me. I've been doing a lot of energy work, a lot of heart healing work, and a lot of readings. All of those things are kind of intertwined. So I'm going to decompress. I'm going to wind down. I'm going to ground, sage a little bit, because I had one reading today that was kind of intense. But it is what it is. It's a part of the work that it is that I do. So in the meantime, you guys, I'm sending you guys all of my love, all of my blessings, especially those that this message was for. Just know that you're being seen, and it is an honor to share this message with you and to share it to you and to be the one to deliver it. It is such an honor to be in the presence of such brilliance. Like, You know, like when people are like, there's like celebrities. I've never been one to get like blown away by celebrities. I always looked at them as normal people. So I don't get like that like starstruck energy. But if there's one person that I'm like, damn, like this is amazing that I'm able to share this message with you, it's those that this message was for. Because I have mad respect for your journey. I have mad respect for your light. I have mad respect for your heart and the unsurmountable odds that you are defeating on a daily basis, and the things that you've lived through that other people would have collapsed under the weight of, and yet something about you is still approaching the world with compassion and consideration. Come on. Consideration, forgiveness, love, light. You still want to help people? That blows me away. So it is an honor. All right, I'm out. I love you guys so much. Bye.